Hello, this is High Templar. Welcome back to my series about Bethesda games modding, and this is the third episode of Skyrim modding. And today will be the hardest of the all episodes because we'll be focusing on the ENB, the engine that makes Skyrim really shine, pun intended. Because the ENB is what modifies the lightning, what makes bloom, lens effects, and many more. And it really makes the biggest difference on how your Skyrim look like. You can change it to dark fantasy, you can change it to something of a horror, very bleak, you can change it to something very vivid, unlike original Skyrim. But first thing you need to do is to get SkyUI. SkyUI is a very basic interface mod that changes the interface how it should look in the PC version because, the original look like this, and it's very good for, say, consoles and controllers, but this is the SkyUI and it tells you a lot about things that you have. It's amazing and you should absolutely use it. And also many mods does use the SkyUI, so mind that. The next thing that you need to do is install all the new lands that you are planning to install. And this is, I told you that I will be doing Bruma Let's Play, so I'm installing Bruma, but if you want to play Falskar or any of the new lands, you can just click here in Skyrim New Lands and you will find many new lands to discover when playing Virstut. I would recommend Virstut, I would recommend Balmorag Inferno. You can possibly find it in quests, not in new lands, but either way, it's or the Forgotten City. All those are very nice, but in general, you should install them right now because what we will be doing soon will be changing the game a lot. The next thing that you need to do is install the weather mods. And for the weather mods, there are a few options, but most of them are tightly connected to the ENB. Some ENBs support some weather mods, some ENBs do not support. We have very nice weather mods. We have, for example, Season of Skyrim, which is quite amazing, and they have ENB coming with it. But we also have Vivid Weathers, and we have some that are very connected to the ENB itself. And for many of those, you can add additional mods that are even more improving the weathers, like True Storms, which are making storms even more powerful and even more intense. For right now, however, the choice that you should make is choose the ENB. The ENB presets. What are the ENB presets? When the ENB engine itself is the thing that makes your Skyrim be able to manipulate the light. So, preset is basically some setup of the ini file that tells your game to do this saturation and that bloom and this lens effects, and basically this is the setup that the author of the ENB preset thought would make Skyrim the best. You can manipulate it yourself, but those are generally really good, and you can see there are many of those, starting from bleak, which makes game very bleak and very horror-esque and similar. This is the Season of Skyrim, which I already told you what it goes. Well, Real Vision is one of the most favorite of all time, which is obviously visible here. Tetrachromatic, very colorful, but natural light and atmospheric, also very nice indeed. And the Ruby ENB, recently very well acclaimed. Now, there are few This is natural lighting and vivid atmospherics. And this is Ruby. Right. So what are those doing? Well, I already explained what are those doing, but the thing is that each of those might work with different ENB engines. So if you click for example on the True Vision ENB, you would find that the latest version is 0.292, which means that it goes with the version with this version of the ENB. And this version of the ENB has a problem that it doesn't support separate dawn and dusk settings for the lighting. And I do think those improve the game. This is supported from the version 0.3, so mind you that. So the one that I have chosen here would be Lucian. Firstly, Lucian is very lightweight, like extremely lightweight. Secondly, I love the look and feel of it. As you can see, there is not that many endorsement and unique DLCs. And the third reason why I picked it, because it's absolutely hard to install it. Yeah, so there's that. You have here the settings, I mean the installation manual. So first thing you need to do is to install and download the latest binary. It tells you it's 308, but actually latest is later. In the version 3 so far, you can pretty much everything that works for the 305, it works for the latest, for the later versions, and I haven't seen DNB preset for the version previous. In the version 0.2 something, you need to be very careful, because if this is like 2.9 and if you want to download 2.9, you should not use 2.7 for example with it. But since 0.30, you can pretty much use every preset that goes with those versions, and just use the latest. The next thing that is very annoying is the ENB download page, and I will show you why. I do not really remember the page again. I just Google ENB Skyrim download and it works. The next thing that we will do, we will download the Vivid Weather mod. Vivid Weather mod is not the most used weather mod, but it is one of the most interesting mods, because you can choose the saturation of the game and you can switch many things in your Sky UI by the mod settings, which is absolutely cool. But we will unfortunately not be using this. We will be using only the textures from it. So what you need to do is to install Vivid Weather and then deactivate ESP, and I will show how to do it in a moment. Then we need to download Natural Light and Vivid Atmospherics. And then we need to download Lucian, Natural Light and Vivid Atmospherics. And finally check our preferences. So yeah, it is quite hard. And then we are going to second part, which is actually installing the mod, which is downloading the archive and then downloading the ENB binaries, which is the same as here, then ENB helper, which is separate page, then taking the wrapper from there, and then putting the very specific settings in Skyrim Pref Ini. Well, first thing that you need to set in, what you need to do is run your Skyrim, run this from the Steam itself. Alright? Yes, normal launcher, go to options and make sure you change your anti-aliasing to off, anisotropic filtering to off, and FXAA to off, right? Those three have to be disabled because it will be taken over by ENB. So yeah, just disable them. Make sure they are disabled, and then you can exit. We can go back here. Alright, so then you have to make sure in your Skyrim pref ini you have those settings. Right? I should have my Skyrim pref ini here, and bflow render target, well, they all should be somewhere here. Like, I can just find it and make sure all those are set to the values that you have here, right? So I have one here, and for the shadows and all others, well, I will have also one, which is necessary. All right. Then we will go to the ENB page, and this is ENB page for Skyrim, right? And it looks a bit weird. This is just an ad, as you can see. So what do we do? As you can see, this is some of the versions of the ENB that you can download, and downloading here is kind of painful. So I click here on the latest version, and then I'm going to the here also they are telling you to set your Skyrim prefini, and then I'm going to the very bottom of the page and click this download button. After I click this download button, I already have, this is my ENB series 0315. I get into my wrapper and I copy to my Skyrim. This is my Skyrim, or you can do it however you want. Copy the D3 D9 DLL file, only this one. So if we go back here, you can see that from the wrapper folder you only take this single file and put it there, right? So we have the DLL, we have the Skyrim prefini, we have installed the Vivid Weather. I will show you that we had in fact installed the Vivid Weathers. This is my Vivid Weather installed, and in plugins I deactivated all the Vivid Weather plugins including Bruma, because Vivid Weathers will ask me if I want to Bruma. If you have any other ENB, you can just keep Vivid Weather or keep any of the weather mods that you want to use. I do like Vivid Weathers. It's all in one. You don't have to have another mods or fixes for it, and it does allow you to do some stuff, but in this case we disable it, right? And then we download and install Natural Light and Atmospherics, which is, this is Vivid Weather, and then we have Natural Light and Vivid Atmospherics, and we download it as well. And then we go into Lucian Natural Light and Atmospheric ENB Enhanced, and we install it. So we need to get the latest. No, this is ENB binary we already have. You've already seen this. Vivid Weather delayed, deactivate or delayed Vivid Weather, then download Natural Light Atmospheric, then download these files and put them manually in your Skyrim folders, right? Right, so if you go here, you download the file, Lucian VLS Enhanced, and you will copy it as well. So I can see here, Lucian NVL Enhanced, and I copy everything into my Skyrim, which is a lot of things to copy, right? So there's that. At some point it might ask you to download this mod, which is Enhanced ENB Night Sky, because it will be prerequisite. Not really a prerequisite, but you can download it and install it as well. It's very cool if you are using Kajits, for example. So we're going back to this manual. So what we've done is we installed on these NVLs and Lucian NLVA. All those are installed. We have downloaded the ENB and moved. We have also need to download the ENB helper and put enable helper DLL into ENB series folder. If I click it, I go into ENB helper and I can download it, and it will land in my download ENB helper. So ENB helper DLL into ENB series. I need to copy this in the ENB series, right? And it looks like a lot of work, and it is. It really is a lot of work. This is True Vision, okay. Right. And yeah, since we have moved everything where it should be, we can use this mod, right? Well, yeah, yes and no. We might need some additional stability for this very game. And we will go into one more mod, which is crash fixes, right? And crash fixes, you just download it, and it's a plugin for SKSA, so you have to install it as well. Now, the crash fixes has some very cool things that you can do with it. So when you install crash fixes, you can go to this one, crash fixes plugins, and the thing that you can do is you can enable use OSA allocators. However, for this one you need to install yet another mod called SKSE plugins preloader, and I highly recommend to use both crash fixes and SKA plugins and plugins, because it will, if you have problems, if you install crash fixes and your game is not stable, this is the way to fix it. If it's stable, you don't have to worry. If it's not stable, it's good to go there and install this mod and set it to 1, and then you need to find memory blocks. Custom memory blocks, right? I think it was somewhere here. Yeah, custom memory blocks. You need to set to 1, so it can use this guy. And memory info console, you need to set to 1. I mean, set it to 1 once if you have problems. Then you set to 0 because it will be very annoying. And I will show you why in a moment. But it will allow you to use custom memory blocks, and you can increase those memory blocks if you happen to run out of memory and your game will crash. So you can go higher to 100, 110, 128. Just not too high, only as high as you need, because going too high will also make your game crash. But that, like I said, this is only if your game is not working correctly. So, having said all that, I have installed the ENBs, copied all those files, and installed the ENB helper. And yeah, I can now play the game, right? You might want to actually install one more thing, and I will show you this in a moment. But I just want to show you that the game works and how to fix some problems that will happen, and they will happen. Now you will notice that your game is starting a lot slower than before, but this is because ENB series is working, as you can see in the upper right corner. And what I'm going to do is I will continue the game because I have prepared the showcase of what's wrong. with the Lucian preset if you don't know what you are doing. Although some people love it, I don't like it particularly. And this is Lens Dirt. Lens Dirt makes a game look a bit like through a window that's stained. So here it's amazing, but if you look at the sun, it's not very nice, right? But as you can see, the game lighting is quite amazing right now. So yeah, we will fix that problem. We will fix that problem in a moment. Yeah, but the game looks great. We are in Helgen after its destruction. And the game should look quite beautiful. But we want to get rid of those flare, of those lens dirt. So what are we going to do? We are going to quit. And we are going to go into ENB series ini file. This one is using Lucian ENB, and I will make two things. Firstly, I will set enable lens to false. You can think that this is an overkill, however, there is a problem with this particular setup, because you can go to lens and you think if you can take all the dirt entries and set it to 0, right now for example dirt power is very high, and here, and make it all zeros, the dirt will go away. But that's actually not true. It will not. So what I want to, so the other thing that you can do, come on, you can go to your Skyrim, Steam, and then Steam Apps, Common, Skyrim, and then NBS series, and you will find a file called ENB lens mask. You can delete it. It is the mask that makes your game look like this, exactly. So you can just delete it and it will work. Or you can go to ENB and just disable it, as I did. So ENB lens false. And also there is one more thing that I don't like, depth of field. Because why I don't like it? Well, for some people it's very nice. For some people it's something that makes the game more realistic. Well, my eyes adapt to what I want to look at very, very fast. So it's actually, for me, it's unimmersive, because the game is blurred when for example, if I have an object very close to the center of the monitor of my field of view, the other thing will be blurred, and that's not how I want to play. So I just disabled depth of field. It will also give me like additional 2 or 3 FPS, right? So yeah, I'm saving that. The other thing that you might want to consider is getting the D3DX932 wrapper, and I will leave a link to the description where to get it, and also copy it into the game. Do remember to do that before you run it. I forgot to mention before that. It is also will make your game run a lot smoother. So we have disabled the ENB things, and we'll try to run. And this time the game should be even more beautiful. And as you can see, you can manipulate the values in the ENB preset. You can manipulate you can download different dirt mask if you want. You can manipulate the amount of light you will be getting. The one more mod that you might find to like is there are one more lightning mod that will remove all the lightning that's not really there. I mean, Skyrim has a lot of light sources that are not really there. And there is a mod which is called ELXF, which I will leave a link in the description as well, will make the game more realistic. However, I do like at least a little bit of lighting in dungeons. So yeah, now I have a bloom effect, but I do not have dirt, and I think you can agree that my game looks quite amazing. These stones look as if they are 3D going inside. The textures are quite insane. The only thing that's not working very well right now will be the distance, and the distance is the next thing that I want to look at. It will be in the next episode. I just want to show you what's wrong, but also show you how beautiful the game can look. And if you are using the right ENB. So it's quite late, it's the night. Let's increase. Oh, this is what I told you about the memory blocks counting. This is the console that I enabled. You should know to go over 90%. If you are going over 90%, you should increase the size of the memory block. Sorry. Let's make game run a bit faster. I think we can agree that this game right now looks pretty amazing indeed, right? However, from the far, if you are looking to the very far, it will have worse effect, and we will work on the far objects later on. But yeah, I do love it indeed. And the fog, suddenly. The timescale is 400, so this fog will normally not show up so suddenly, but you can see that it changes the game quite immensely, and it's absolutely awesome. Alright, so this is it for the showcase. I hope you like it. The game is starting to look very, very nice indeed, and we will work on other mods in next episodes. Thank you for watching, and see you later.